say, "Oh my God, I'm so surprised that I have cancer." And it's not a surprise because of the products they're using. I mean, they've also come out with, sunscreen it's not good for you. So
Oh,
people think
no.
that, you're putting tons of sunscreen on, for skin cancer, where guess what? That's what's causing it.
Well, hello, listeners. Welcome to In the Know with KO. I'm your host, Kristen Adams, also known as KO. And today we have a very inspirational show. Hence the shirt that I'm wearing for my special friend, who I'll introduce in a moment. But before we get into fancy introductions, we're going to jump right into some rapid fire. Allie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hey. All right. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
I love them both. Both.
Oh, you can love them both.
I can't.
You don't have to choose.
I can't choose.
There's no rules here. It's my show. There's no rules. I choose. Okay.
Exactly.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
I knew you were going to say that. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
I did not know you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Rice or potatoes?
Rice.
Okay. And last but not least, carrots or celery?
Celery.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Interesting.
And those are hard yeses. Like, I could answer those quickly. Like,
Oh, I'm so excited
to sure know that those were the
so
answers.
super excited for the listeners to understand why that was so meaningful. Okay. So I want to talk about who you are, and then I'm going to talk about how we met. So first, I want to introduce Allyson Lipnack. And everyone who knows her loves her, and we all call her Allie. And she started working with a holistic nutritionist and naturopathic doctors and began to start feeling better and had more energy and started losing weight naturally. What? Like, hello. I mean, as women, once we get over the age of 30, losing weight naturally, you have my attention. So we're always told also that that's impossible, especially for women as we age. Our metabolism supposedly slows down. Nope, we're here to myth bust. Get ready. She leaned in the natural and holistic approach to life and was always taught at a very early age by her brother, who is a chiropractor. Shout out to her brother. The body can heal itself. That is true. She believes this to be true, and she enhanced this journey with her deep passion for cooking. And she became so passionate about educating other people on how this all comes together and how you can weave this into your lifestyle that she then created Thrive As You Age. Now, I am going to throw the website up here so that y'all will have access to that. She also has social media platforms, but the main thing you want to do is go to her website because that's where you're going to find all of the photos of her food, recipes, tips, tricks, and a deeper explanation about her services. So let me just summarize. In addition to what Thrive As You Age means, there are healthy cooking and recipe suggestions and ideas on there, along with incredible pictures that always make me hungry. She can offer grocery store tours, and she is a wellness coach with a 6-week Be Healthy program. And here's the best part about that program, y'all. You don't have to be here in South Florida. You can meet with Allie via Zoom. Isn't that exciting? You could be anywhere in the world. So I love that she's able to introduce this to everyone. So with that said, welcome, Allie.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. You know, we've got several years of history together. And if we had to put a number on the years, I'm going to say somewhere around 15 or 18 years of friendship. Is that correct?
Yes. Wow. Not that long.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
Oh my gosh. Now, we initially met here in the Boca Raton community serving as volunteers. Isn't that right?
Yes. For the Boca something battle, I think it was that you were,
Yeah, it was the Boca, it was like not the ballroom battle. You know what it was? It was Boca's Entertainer of the Year. It was kind of like.
But I think I had known you before that, but I think
little
that's
bit.
kind of like where we kind of developed a friendship.
Yes, that's where we developed a friendship. And at that time, in addition, at the time you were in the advertising industry and doing promotional stuff. And you were also moonlighting as a life coach. And as I was going through a tremendous mountain I was trying to overcome, I remember we had a conversation about how I can love myself so that I'm lovable for others and break through some of those difficult relationships, right?
Yeah.
You helped me to identify those toxic moments and how I can love myself to be lovable. And boy, did it work. Boy, did it work. And, it's not a surprise to me that you want to take the experience you have as a life coach, and you taught me how to do vision boards, which I've used many times as a volunteer in high schools with youth, especially young women. But I really think that the life coaching and then your passion for cooking is a natural complement to one another and how you're able to help clients. So please share the impact, Allie, that you have on client lives as a wellness coach and now personal chef.
Well, when you say all of that, it just goes right to clients that I have, and they're just wonderful. It's a couple, actually, and we become very, very good friends. And so they hired me to be their coach, the 6-week program. Now, mind you, the client told me that she was lazy, she didn't like to cook, she really wanted to get healthy. She was a cancer survivor. And she had been watching me on social media. We had been friends on Facebook and stuff. So she reached out to me and she's like, I'm really lazy in the kitchen. I don't like to cook, but I know that I need to. And I know that I need to eat healthy. I try to eat as healthy as possible, but I don't think I'm doing it right, regardless. So she's like, I really need to get my husband on board. And so she did. And so they both signed up as a couple. So the first thing I did was I went to their house and we started talking about different things. And then I said, okay. And she's like, all right, I'm ready.
Break it to me gently.
She was like, okay, I already know what's coming up. So the first session is I always go into the person's home and I go through the refrigerator and I go through their cabinets. And I basically tell them, in a not so nice way, I have to say, I'm very blunt because, I'm very blunt because there are foods and products out there that I don't know if I could curse on here, but are just crap. I mean that's mild.
Crap's not too bad. My 9-year-old says crap. We can handle crap on the show.
That's not so bad. But if you want to heighten that a little bit more,
I can see
use your imagination.
So I can understand why that's painful, right? Because you're having to make these massive changes, and I can imagine
massive.
It doesn't just end in the cupboard, pantry, or refrigerator, right? It actually trickles over into lifestyle as far as products and environment. I mean, there's so much to learn. I mean, when you take that deep dive, it's a long process. Like you don't just go into someone's house, snap your fingers, and magically change things over, right?
Right.
It's a process.
It was definitely a process. And so I went through their cabinets, I went through their refrigerator, we went through their freezer. And let me tell you something, they were so committed. And they're like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And we're going all in. And we filled up 2 garbage bags. So just to give you a little, for instance, is the first thing when I walked in the door were these, bottled protein drinks.
Ooh.
Very common.
I already know where this thing is going right now.
That was the first thing I saw when I went. I didn't say a word. Yeah. And then obviously we stood up and we went to go to their kitchen and I looked at both of them. I said, I'm just letting you know. And they had boxes stacked up. And I looked at them. I said, I'm just letting you know those have got to go. But the good part is I explained. So I'll take the bottle and I'll turn it around and I will show them all the ingredients that's in there and why they're bad ingredients and why you shouldn't be, eating or drinking that.
So part of the process is educating them, okay, so that they understand, which is huge. I mean, I've done the same thing with my kids. I love being what they call a crunchy mom because whether it's makeup products, personal care and hygiene products, cleaning products, laundry products. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's basically everything in your life. Everything. Okay, you have to read the labels, and our kids even know, like when they go to birthday parties and all of that, and we celebrate Halloween. I actually have a buyback program with them, to where if they surrender the trash, I reward them double over. And they can also trade it in completely and we pay them. Like my little guy, he's 9.
Fantastic.
On Halloween, I gave him 25 cents for every piece of bad candy that he surrendered.
Oh, I love that. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, that's absolutely. So you made it fun for them.
Yes.
Made it totally worth it and so much fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, so the whole concept of being a wellness coach is definitely not news to anybody. And I think that we are in the perfect time in the world for you to be a wellness coach because now it's not foreign. Yeah. This is something that's become quite a hot topic. And, I don't talk politics on this show, but I'm going to say I really am very excited to see what our country is leaning into to, no matter what you believe in or support, I think it's at least raising some questions that need answers. And I also think that it's forcing consumers to educate themselves, regardless of what you believe in and your lifestyle. Okay, we're not going to get into that. But I definitely love the fact that people want to do better for themselves, for their families, right?
Well, they're learning. Yeah, they're learning because, every day I hear another person that has diagnosed with cancer and they're getting younger and younger and younger. And the statistics are, you can look it up anywhere. Yeah. Statistics are like literally like 70 to 90% of all disease right now in 2025 is caused by lifestyle. And that's by your food choices and things like that. It's the accumulation of years and years and years and years and years. It's not like say, oh my God, I'm so surprised that I have cancer. And it's not a surprise because of the products they're using. I mean, they've also come out with, sunscreen it's not good for you. So people think that, you're putting tons of sunscreen on, for skin cancer where guess what? That's what's causing it.
Yeah, that's actually such a hot topic of mine. And in our house, we celebrate Easter. And every year for Easter, I do something cool for all the kids in the family. I get all of them a new bathing suit and towel and a bottle of Think Sport zinc mineral sunscreen because that's what puts a barrier between your skin and the UV rays. Right. And if it comes in a can, throw it in the garbage. Don't even bother reading it. There's nothing in a can that's going to be good for your skin.
Yep.
And what a lot of people also don't realize, although I think more people are savvy to it now, if it goes on your skin, it's leaching into your bloodstream and it's going into your body. You might as well eat what's in the tube, right?
Yeah.
So I love that people are becoming more educated. There's some really great apps out there too. So in addition to the Bobby approved app, which, love him or hate him, he's a great guy with some great ideas and some great knowledge, right?
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would hate him.
I've heard mixed reviews. I'm a fan. I fully support.
I saw him in Whole Foods. He lives here in Boca, and I saw him in Whole Foods. I turned the corner. I was like, yep. You would have thought I saw Rick Springfield.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know.
Same thing happened to us.
I saw him. He's like, are you okay? And I go, oh my God, you're here. I've been wanting to meet you and I literally, I'm like, oh my God, can I hug you? And he's like, absolutely. And then I'm like, can I take a selfie with you? He's like, absolutely. And I'm like, oh my God, you're such an inspiration. You're the reason why I started my business. I was just going on and on. I was shaking like an idiot. You would have thought I saw like a rock star.
I love
crazy.
That. I love that. I was at the mall actually with our daughter and, teenage girl at the mall. When you do something embarrassing, never a hit. Okay. But sometimes I'm like, I'm not here to win the popular vote. I'm living my life and I'm going in.
You go.
I went right up to him. He was actually with his wife and daughter who his daughter steals the show. I mean, little Rosie is the cutest little button, right?
Yeah, she's
and I went right up to him and I said, hello. I didn't inquire about a selfie. I probably should have. Same thing happened when I saw Kevin James a few months ago, actually driving down a road here in South Florida. I rolled right up next to him, put the window down. All of the clever and witty things that I thought I would have said, right out the window. Right out the window. I was a babbling idiot. I was like completely mortified. I got home, told my husband, I was like, I'm so disappointed in myself. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I just saw Kevin James. I'm like, what is happening? And then I ruined the moment, but it's okay. He was very cool. He was very polite. So let's go back to your clients, okay? Because this is why we're talking. We want people to understand the significance of having a wellness coach. And again, just a friendly reminder, you can do this virtually. You don't have to be present to work with Allie. Obviously, she can't necessarily travel all around the world, but she will. If you really want her to, she'll come to your house. But I love the fact that you mentioned something about your clients admitting that they were lazy when it came to food prep and shopping. I struggle with that myself, but it's not because of laziness. For me, it's because I'm constantly in 3 places at once, right? So like right before coming here to the podcast studio, I had to make sure, did this one get their homework done? Did my husband have what he needed from me? Did I send those emails out? Did I respond to that phone call? My youngest has basketball practice. I had 20 things before moving out the door, but I made sure, I have chicken taken out. I've got some peppers. I'm like, great, I'm going to make some sweet and sour chicken when I had to think ahead. What am I going to do? And I think that people are not necessarily lazy. They lean into convenience because it's easier. I mean, I guess that is lazy, isn't it? I guess going with the easier option is lazy, isn't it?
Well, a lot of times it's they get so frustrated because if they have a family and they have children and then all the kids have different tastes, the husband has a different taste, they all want different meals. So I get that a lot when people inquire about hiring me to cook for them. That's a lot of their complaint. They're like, I'm just so over every single day somebody saying to me, "What's for dinner?"
Oh my gosh. I literally, I spend half of my adult life answering the question, "What's for dinner?"
Or "What are we eating?" Or "What's for this?" So
yes,
that's a lot of the frustration. That's mostly. And then they obviously want to eat healthy, but they don't necessarily know, they'll always say to me, "Oh, I usually eat healthy," or "I think I eat healthy," or "I try to eat healthy."
It's not necessarily their fault though, because one thing I will say is I don't want to call them scams. That's not the right word, but false advertising, right? Like you see you see packaging.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're very good at it.
They're very good at that.
Yeah, the packaging, there's so many code words. There's gluten-free is a phenomenal one. It's gluten-free, so it's going to be good. It's going to be healthy. Or, there's so many different things. It's fat-free or no sugar added or made with natural ingredients or derived from fruit, whatever it is.
Right.
And then you look at the back of the package and you're like, oh my God. I could go on and on and on about how, yeah, you could take, Starbucks. Everybody stops at Starbucks and buys their coffee and their drinks.
Not me, Allyson, not me.
I don't go there anymore. But if you, all these places that you drive through that has these fruit drinks and there's no fruit in them. There's no fruit in them. They're fruit flavors, but there's no real fruit. So that's how they get you is, you think you're eating something or you're drinking something with fruit in it, and there is no fruit in it.
So what I think is interesting, and honestly, consumers, y'all should be pissed. I know I am. Like something as simple as Philadelphia cream cheese. Okay, not the healthiest ingredient, but I'm using it as an example because we still get it. It's in my house. Okay, guilty. I get a better. I have that, plus I have a better product. But there's a time for Philadelphia cream cheese. There just is. There is something on their packaging now that they didn't always have. And now I'm privy to it. I notice it on a lot of packaging. Like it says on the front, no artificial dyes, no preservatives. Well, you know what that is to me? That's a huge red flag. That suggests that for the last, 20, 30, 40 years or however many years they've been around, they've been laced with artificial dyes and preservatives because now it's on the package and they want you to know we don't do that anymore. Just like Kraft mac and cheese did this whole huge promotion. No more yellow dye number 5. We're going to use turmeric. And I'm like, okay, cheese isn't in a form of a powder. I don't care what you're trying to inform me about.
It's very processed.
It's very processed. So, there are better options out there with every product. And that's what I love about what Ally offers. She is helping people understand, oh, this is what you like? Okay, guess what? You don't have to give it up completely, but you can definitely ease your way in and find better choices.
Right. So what I always tell people is, first of all, I am not deprived of anything in my life. I am not like, just because you eat healthy does not mean you're deprived.
Hold on a second. I'm going to take a
sip of our
Prosecco. For the record, we're not recording in the morning like usual. This is not a morning show. This is a happy hour show.
And it's vegan, and it does come from Italy, so there are no sulfates or preservatives.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Everyone's listening to us sipping and slurping right now.
Yum.
Fantastic. I hope you're joining us because I always tell my listeners, grab a cup of whatever makes you happy and let's go. I didn't say that in today's opening. I guess I'm thrown off by not recording in the morning, but, you're right. There's a lot of misinformation being put out there, but now I think these companies are realizing that consumers are smarter than they gave them credit for a very long time. And now it's also science-backed. Okay, so again, this is not a political position. This is a science position. These are the facts. Allie, you were very close to my mom before she passed, and I appreciate the friendship and how you guys used to love running into one another at the grocery store. And, one thing that always jumps out at me was when, my mom did pass from cancer and complications of that. Now, before that, obviously, you get into battle mode, okay? There's a series of things that you do. There's the initial biopsy, there's surgery, there's chemotherapy, there's radiation, there's all of these choices, right? And when I went with her to chemotherapy, the one thing that blew my mind, and this was before I was even as educated as I am now on how to be a crunchy woman and how to live this great life, in the actual hospital where they did the chemotherapy infusions, in the little snack area where they have like snacks and drinks for the patients as well as the guests that were there supporting the patients, not one healthy item.
Don't even get me started with that.
I'm not even kidding you. It was juice, but it wasn't real juice. Like it was like, processed from concentrate, not organic, soda. And then there was coffee with the powdered creamer, the white sugar, and then it was like these trash granola bars, candy, chips, all the stuff that's literally feeding the disease that you're trying to fight. I go, why are we even here? Why are we even here?
Yeah.
I even said something to the oncologist. I said, why don't you put out a bowl of fruit and maybe some, a container with like purified water? And I was told, well, this is donated by some businesses in the community. And so because that would cost money, and I'm thinking, I know how much it costs to get this treatment, and that's just one person. You're going to tell me you can't afford a few healthy snacks or some fruit?
Yeah.
Not buying it. So what we started doing from that point on was packing a little cooler, and some of the other patients started to see what we were doing. Well, fast forward a couple years down the road when my mom passed away, I decided to go back to that hospital as a volunteer in the infusion suite. And I always encouraged everybody there to bring their healthy snacks. I said, stay out of that room. Don't even go in the snack room. Bring some healthy snacks. And they all started to. It was great.
Yeah. When my mother was sick for 3.5 years, and she was in the hospital for 3 months. And it was just, I was appalled, because it's all the candy vending machines. All the fast food and all the fried chicken and the French fries and all the doctors. Yeah. That's what they're eating. I mean, that's what they're eating.
Yeah.
Well, there was not one, if I tell you, maybe the only nutritious thing was maybe a banana. But other than that, there was absolutely nothing. The yogurt that was in the refrigerator was loaded with sugar. I mean, there was just, so I never went down there. I never ate anything. I would always, like you, brought a cooler to my mom. I'd bring her fresh watermelon. I'd bring her like all fresh, all that stuff.
All the fresh stuff. I mean, it's sad to me that,
Terrible.
When you go to the grocery store, there's a healthy section. And I think it was you that shared.
What's the rest of the rest of the grocery store? Yeah. If there's a health section.
Yes.
There's a healthy food section. What is the rest of the grocery store? And everybody still thinks till this day that the perimeter of the grocery store is the healthiest one. And at this stage of the game, I beg to differ. I think it's there now.
No, I think we have to be very careful of where we get products from. And I'm excited about companies out there like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Thrive Market.
Yeah, of course.
Love Thrive. I think that is a fantastic company. I wish they had local stores. I love that it's very convenient, and honestly their prices are really competitive, which is also a win in my house. We like to save. But I think it's very challenging for anyone who is cost conscious or on a budget or perhaps even getting government assistance. When you look at what they're able to afford, it's like this vicious cycle, and it gets me so upset. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, do I need a lobbyist? Like, where do I go with this? Because it's very frustrating when you look at that's what they have available to them. And chances are, if they have children that are in school, they're going to school and getting, taking advantage of the free meals. Do you think those free meals are healthy? Probably not.
my
And
God.
they're not getting nourished. Then you've got disease or obesity, diabetes, ADHD. Children are on the spectrum. All these numbers have reached extreme highs, like off the charts highs. And, I have a few friends who we actually have contemplated creating a small committee to go to the school to try to get these things eliminated. It blows my mind when I go to schools where, maybe my kids are playing sports or where our daughter does debate. You're walking around the campus and you're like, oh my gosh, the vending machine is full of red and blue drinks. Okay. And then you look in the vending machine and it's all the candy that is complete trash. And it's frustrating because I know there's replacement options out there. I'm not saying I don't want my kids to have candy. I'm not saying I don't want them to have a soda or a juice drink or whatever. But there are so many better options out there. And it's annoying to me that those options are more expensive. We have to pay so much more. But here's the trade-off that I've tried to educate people on. Pay now or pay later. I literally just said this in an episode a couple weeks ago.
Well, yeah, you either are paying a $200 or $300 grocery bill, or you're going to end up paying. And you could talk to anybody that's got cancer, that has diabetes, that has any of those things. Your insurance does not pay 100%. I'm sorry, when you go into it just doesn't. So you're going to get a bill for 50, 100, 200,000, even more than that, thousands of dollars later that you're going to have to pay off.
That's going to be a whole separate episode, ladies and gentlemen.
And yeah. So, I mean, it's just, it's like while you're here and while you're healthy, why not be proactive with your health? And it's all preventative. And unfortunately, in the United States, we're all about fight against cancer, fight against breast cancer, fight. What about preventing it?
Yes.
What a concept.
Woo! I love that idea.
What about preventing
Yay!
it? But there's no money in preventing. There's no money to be had when you're healthy. They don't make money.
Well, those companies need to pivot, okay? Okay.
Don't.
Do you remember the episode of Friends when Ross was trying to get the couch upstairs with
Yes.
Chandler? Pivot. Okay, we're gonna throw that clip up. Hopefully, we don't get bombed off of YouTube because of it. But
It was such a
even
great
just a
one.
photo. But it's a huge inside joke with some of my friends. Pivot. Yeah, I think that those companies need to learn to pivot because there is money to be had in health and wellness. Okay, because everything, it's all encompassing. Because if you eat badly, you feel badly. And if you feel badly, you can't work out and exercise. You're not motivated. It affects your mental health. It affects your gut health. It affects your ability to fight disease. Like all of those things they literally all go together.
Yeah, but that's the norm. The United States, the norm is to take a pill for your stomach because you're gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipated. That's normal. So you there's a pill for that. And it's normal to have headaches. It's normal to have all these different things. And then you just go to the doctor and the doctor prescribes a medication and they just kind of cover up the symptoms, but they don't get to the root cause. Like, why is that going on? That's not normal. Your body is not supposed to be sick. It's not supposed to have digestive issues. It's not supposed to have eczema. It's not supposed to have allergies. You're not supposed to have any of that. But that is the new normal.
It is the new normal. Hence all of the pharmaceutical company advertisements and promotions.
Oh my God, I love the commercial where it's the barbecue and they're eating the hot dogs, and then all of a sudden they eat it and they're breathing fire, and then they say to take the purple pill or whatever the hell it's called, whatever it's called, and I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, that's the answer, is just take a pill for it. Like,
Right.
How about don't eat that stuff that's got nitrates and chemicals and that type of meat it is poison. It is literally, but there are, I mean, you could just go right up the street to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has a organic, grass-fed, no nitrate hot dog.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, so we're currently recording this episode the end of February. It's probably not going to air until later in March. However, when it does, get yourself ready for spring and summer and the holidays that are coming, and take Allie up on learning how to trade out those items. That's a perfect example. See, I don't believe in giving things up. I also believe, and this is a true rule, my children are going to be listening and they will attest. My rule is, if I don't remember the last time I had it, it's okay to indulge and enjoy it in moderation now. And, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, right? It could be, you know, a Blizzard from Dairy Queen. I don't know. It could be whatever. I'm not going to go every week and get one, and I'm not going to feed them to my kids all the time. But as a family, it's okay to go and enjoy that treat and go and have something. It's not a lifestyle. There's a huge difference between enjoying a treat, having something special, and making it a lifestyle. The lifestyle part should be being healthy. Reach out to Allie and find out how you can make these adjustments in your life. See where your life is out of balance, right?
Yeah. The one thing I always tell people, it's so funny, I'm so annoying with it, but I can't help it, is that when I walk into a house and I'll open up the refrigerator and there's still pancake syrup in there. I literally want to take the pancake syrup and just like literally smash it against the wall.
Now, organic.
No, maple. No.
Oh, pure,
pancake syrup.
Oh, pancake syrup, not pure maple
Not maple
syrup.
syrup. I'm
Got you.
talking
I was
pancake syrup
I was gonna
that
say,
is made
oh.
with corn syrup and more corn syrup and more corn syrup that's GMO. And it is so disgusting and so bad for you. Just switch to maple syrup. Just switch to maple syrup. Real maple syrup. And the other day I was talking with a friend of mine because they had it and they were using it. And I said, just use maple syrup. And she's like, well, it's too runny. I like this one because it's thicker. And I was like, okay. I shut up. But yeah. So I'm like, if there's one thing that you could change.
And see, that's the
just
thing
please get rid of the pancake syrup.
But that's a perfect example, because if you replace it and you get the better, pure,
you can eat it.
Organic maple syrup, you can actually also use it in cooking and baking.
Yeah.
It's actually
it's natural. It comes
phenomenal.
from a tree.
Phenomenal.
What a concept. It's sweet. It's beautiful. It's, you know, and that's the whole thing. When you start eating healthy, your taste buds start to change when you eat things that are clean. And if you were to eat like the pancake syrup, if I was to eat pancake syrup at this point, I would be so disgusted because it's just so gross. It did the taste of it, but then you have maple syrup and it's so sweet and so lovely. And I use it all the time. That, and I use coconut sugar. Coconut sugar does not taste like coconut. It tastes like brown sugar, or it tastes like regular sugar.
Yeah.
But again, it's from a coconut.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And see, this is a perfect example, ladies and gentlemen, of regular everyday things, whether you are raising small children or living on your own and in later stages of life as an adult. It's never too late to make these changes, because all of us are going to battle some form of health compromises or potentially disease. I mean, I hope you don't, but chances are we are going to have something that we're going to have to battle or face, even if it comes in the form of stress and anxiety, which tends to roll into an additional secondary issue of some form of a gut or digestive health or chronic headaches, like all of these things. So do yourself a favor. Just touch base with Allie. She loves having these conversations. We literally have sat for hours at a time before and talked about healthy cooking. She taught me how to make my own hummus. I mean, we've had all of these beautiful conversations over the years. So I would highly encourage you. Again, we're going to throw up her website here, Thriving as You Age. Check it out. You owe it to yourself to at least try the 6-week program, or she can customize a coaching and wellness program that works for you. Just reach out to her and she can answer those questions. Right, Allie?
Yeah. And when I do my personal chef services, I always, when I go into someone's home and I cook for them, I always use only organic, all clean, What I'm saying is what I do. So every time I go into someone, I don't use plastic. I make all my clients get glass containers, and I don't use tin foil. So I mean, I literally that's so when I cook for somebody, I'm using all clean, healthy. So when you open up the refrigerator and you see all that prepared food, every single thing is healthy.
Well,
You don't have to guess.
If you're not convinced by anything we've seen so far, jump on her website. You'll see some amazing photos of the yummy deliciousness that she has created. And with that said, I want to say thank you, Allie, for being a guest. We are definitely going to bring her back. So if you've got questions about all of this, if you haven't spoken to her already, or you want to hear about additional things in this topic and in this lifestyle, reach out. Let me know what you want to hear about. What do you want to be in the know about? And we will make it happen. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you like it, share it, comment, and tune in for more. Thank you for listening.